Hello, everyone. It's your girl Belinda. One more time, I'm here. And as you know, this week we're talking about mental illness because this week is about mental illness awareness. So today I have with me a friend of mine, Damien, and he's here to share his journey with mental illness and lifestyle changes. So, Damien, briefly tell us a little bit about yourself so the audience can know who you are.
Yeah, wonderful. My name is Damien, and I've been into fitness on and off for a long part of my life. I just got back on it about last year. It's been a big part of my life, and it really has saved my life. I am married. I have two children. My wife, Katasha, has been on the show before, and she's also into fitness herself and has a wonderful journey that you probably want to follow yourself. That's a little bit about me, and you'll get to know more as this interview continues.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. So the first question we're gonna ask is since it's about mental illness, what were the conditions or what was the illness that you struggled with, or what were you
Oh,
diagnosed with?
for me, it was just severe depression at the time. It was around last June 2019, when I went in for my checkup for at the doctor. They gave me the assessment, then they sent me to a specialist, and they diagnosed me with severe depression based on what I was experiencing at the time. And so that was my diagnosis, and I need to find ways to be able to manage and deal with this. As much of what I was dealing with was more situational than it was chemical. At least that's what I believed.
Okay. All right. So now tell us what was happening to you at that time that made you decide to seek treatment. Made you decide to go to the doctor's office.
I was just feeling down. I had almost no motivation to work the way that I wanted to work. Had no feel of any type of ambition. Didn't believe that what I was doing was going to get any sort of life results in any way possible. Just feeling like a dead end at life. The previous career that I was trying to get into, I felt like I was hitting a dead end and that there was nothing more that I was able to do. So all of that led me to this feeling of helplessness, where I
Mm,
felt like I had no control over my life. I felt like whatever I chose to do didn't really matter, and also that I had
mm,
nothing to look forward to. So those are the three big points of what I believe I was going through at the time. And no control over my life, that whatever I did for myself had no impact on the results that I was going to get, and also that I had really nothing to look forward to.
So did at any point did you feel like you wanted to harm yourself?
Oh yeah, definitely. That
Okay. All
was
right.
a couple of times, and I disclosed that to a couple of people close to me, so just so that they would have eyes on me and make sure that they can take care of me if need be.
Oh, that's good. I'm happy that you found the courage to ask them, to speak about that to others as well, because I'm pretty sure it's not easy to share that with folks.
Oh no, it's not easy at all. Most people are not going to do very well at at helping you out either. So it's very difficult. But there were just a few people, like one or two people that were
Hmm.
there. As a matter of fact, it wasn't just one or two; it was three people for me
Okay.
that were able to help out.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so like, how long do you say you were struggling with these thoughts and these emotions? Well, these how long were you suffering with depression? Do you think before you finally sought treatment?
It had to be like 6 years. It,
Wow,
it
that's
was
a
going
long
on
time.
about yeah, it was a very long time, and I tried other natural treatments. I tried to just push and work a lot, all of those little things that I was trying to do, but I was struggling with it for quite some time before I was like, okay, this is it. There's nothing more that I can do. I'm really feeling like I'm at the end of this all.
And what was that? What happened? Did something happen at that point to make you say, "Okay, I need to look for something," or was it just like, "All right, I'm doing this"? So, like, what happened to make you say, "I'm going to the doctor tomorrow"?
Oh, well, at that time, it was when I decided to send in my last application to my previous career and realized
I
that
see.
this was it. I couldn't really push any further. So, with that being said, it was not like I could look forward to the next month and the next round of applications. There really was nothing beyond this. It wasn't like, okay,
Mm,
I'm going to have to stay alive until next month. It was just it.
right.
Like, okay, now this is all gone. What do I do from here? I have no
Wow.
idea what I do from here. I've never envisioned what happens after this.
Wow. So what happened when you went when you went to to your doctors? What happened? How did they diagnose you, and what happened afterwards?
So the first step is to just go see your primary care physician.
Hmm.
At the time, I actually didn't have a primary care physician, so I had to get that all set up. A
Okay.
very very important step to take for everybody is to make sure you know your primary care physician's name and that we are doing regular routine checkups. And then to let them
Mm.
know what's going on with me, because you usually do have to get referred out for anything mental health related. So when I went there, I said, "This is how I've been feeling. Let me know what I need to do next." I got there, they gave me the brief assessment, and then they referred me out to a specialist. It did take months to be able to get a appointment with a specialist, but I'm glad that I was able to wait out those months. And also, giving me the months, I kind of spin it to say that it was probably a good thing because now I had something to look forward to. I
Mm.
had the appointment
Okay.
back in June, and they said the earliest time that we have for you is September. And at first, I'm like,
Wow.
"Oh crap, seriously? I gotta wait all these
Right.
months." But then the good part about it is that because I had to wait all those months, I had to look forward to September. I had to keep in mind that I
Okay.
have something to look forward to. So I kind of spun it in my mind to make sure that it was something positive to say, all right, I'm just going to make it to September. I'm going to get better
Okay.
in September. After September comes, you make the appointment with a specialist, and they're the ones that give you the real diagnosis and a plan for treatment.
So what was, if you don't mind sharing, what was your plan for treatment?
Well, for me, I went and I was like, I'm not going to really do the meds. And the
Okay.
specialists, they did agree that it's probably more situational than it was chemical. There's chemical depression where this is just how
Mm.
you are. This is who you are. This is what you're going to have to go through. And there are other things that are more situational where you have to work through certain things of your life. And I believe that that one's a bit more common for a lot of us. So as over
Mm.
time, things have kind of broken down and just being able to manage those issues in your life to the
Right, right.
point where you can function properly and then also find something new with yourself.
Okay. All right, awesome. So now, did you have therapy? Were you going there regularly, in addition, like counseling or what have you? I know you didn't take any meds, like you said, but were you at least going, seeing someone regularly?
I started to, but then it kind of fell off for just a little bit.
Okay, that's fair enough. Now, one thing I do hear is that sometimes you have to like gel with the practitioner. Was that something that you found was difficult with the person that you were seeing? Like, were you like not meshing with the person?
Well, for me, I feel like we were meshing, but it was perfectly fine. For you do have to find someone that you're going to mesh with and someone that you're going to enjoy a little bit more. So you do
Hmm.
want to make sure you shop around, and that's what even what I tell people. Even for right now, in addition to have a primary care physician, you do want to be able to shop around right now for a therapist that you like that you can have
Right,
on call, and then you can use them whenever the time arises.
right,
So
right,
even if you're
right,
not dealing with anything, you want to go out there and do it now. You don't want to wait for something to happen. They're like, oh, I'll take whoever's first in line. And
right.
then that's not the exact person that you want to be with. So even if you have nothing going on right now, you feel like everything's okay, you still want to find somebody right now just to have contact.
Right, that's true. That's a good point because you don't want to wait till things get really bad and then you're like scrambling trying to find someone and then it makes you feel worse. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
a very good point.
remember for me, I had to sit there and I had to find a PCP first, and then I had to find a specialist, and then I had to wait all these
Right,
months. For somebody else, it would be a lot better if you're already halfway into this process, where at least I already know the person's name.
right, right. At least a person's name.
Yeah, at
So
least
so tell me, when did you start looking into or turning to like a change in lifestyle to help you, or what made you turn that way to turn that direction?
Oh, absolutely. Now this is almost accidental. As I said, the
Mm,
three things that were going on in my life was number one, feeling like I had no control over my life, that
right.
everything was controlling me. I was in control of nothing. Number two, that whatever I did had no consequence to the results that I got. And number three, having nothing to look forward to. Those are the three elements that I was going through at the time. And those are three of the common elements that go into the feelings of depression. So that's what I
Mm,
was dealing with at the time. When I went to the appointment back in June, I was the heaviest I'd ever been in my entire life. And part of my story is that I've been up and down with my weight and with my fitness over time. But at that moment, I was at my heaviest that I had ever been in my entire life. They weighed me in at 308 pounds,
wow.
52 inch waist too. So that's kind of crazy. And this is in June 2019.
Mm,
At the time, I also had nothing else to do. So I did have the kids at the time, so
right.
that was great to be able to have them and to be able to take care of them. They had swimming lessons. They went to the YMCA, and I kind of just sporadically started lifting weights again for no other reason than this is just something to do. This is just something to pass the time. This is just something that I'm going to do. And that's why I decided to take it seriously. Now, if we went through these 3 points, fitness and a healthy lifestyle was going to help with these things. The first one, I have no control over my life. But here's the thing, I do have control over what I put in my mouth. So for me, dieting is not just this disciplined action where I have to sacrifice all the things that I love to eat. That's not how dieting is for me. Dieting for me is a mechanism by which I remind myself daily that I have control over what I do. I love eating my bland food just because it tells me, it reminds me that I'm in control of my life. Like, yeah, I'm doing this because I
Right.
want to do it. So little things like
Yeah.
that, how
Yeah.
fitness reminds you that you are in control of your life. The second
Mm-hmm.
one about how results, your actions lead to positive results. For me, I didn't have any type of weight loss goals. I just wanted to be consistent. But it's like
Okay.
after 2 months or so, it's like, oh snap, yo, my pants starting to get a little bit loose again. I'm wearing old clothes. So like, so what I do now, fitness taught me that what I do has consequences that are positive. It brings results to it. So there is a purpose of what I'm doing with myself.
Right.
And for the third one that I was talking about, having something to look forward to. Again, I didn't have any type of weight loss goals. I didn't have anything of the sort to have a body image goal. But I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I was like, whoa, so this has been like 2 months. I wonder what's going to happen 4 months from now. So
Yeah.
now I actually had to live for 4 months to find out what happens 4 months of this. It gave me something to look forward to.
That's awesome. Wow. So so at what point um so now that you are seeing the results, what were you experiencing in your mind? I mean, I know that you went through these things, but like, were there ever any days where it was really, really challenging, like you felt down? And if you did, like, what did you do to push through those days to make sure like you did go exercise or you did eat that bland food?
Oh, for me, about it feeling down, I actually haven't had that many of those type of days. There were quite
Okay.
a few of them.
At the
If there was some
beginning.
stress at the beginning, they were actually less than they were now.
Okay.
Believe it or not, because my mindset was so different. I wasn't in this to try to lose weight. I wasn't in this to try to get in shape. I was actually in
Okay.
this because if I didn't do this, I had nothing else that I can do with my life.
I
It felt
see.
like there was
Okay.
nothing else for me. There was nothing else I was in control of. There was nothing else that I could feel responsible for. There was literally nothing else. So this gave me a sense of purpose at the time where I
Mm.
was able to say that I can do this. I didn't go into the gym thinking, okay, I'm going to lift as heavy as I can. I didn't have any goals for strength. I didn't have any goals for PRs. I didn't have any goals for my body. It was just that I'm going to do this because it reminds me that I have some type of control over my own life and over myself.
Okay. All right. So
And
now I get it. Okay. So this was a way for you to gain control because at first you felt like nothing was going right. You felt
yeah,
totally out of control of everything. So it's like, I have control of this one thing, so I'm going to hold on to it.
exactly. I have control over this
Okay.
one thing. No one else is responsible for this besides me. And I was content with just doing it. Even if I never lost a pound, I still would have done it.
That's awesome. So now
Definitely.
what were you doing? I know you were lifting. I know you're lifting. And like, so what were you doing in terms of food? And did you find that certain foods worked with your body better than others, or what, how did that go?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I found out that there were certain foods that I enjoy better. Now for me, I'm typically a picky eater, so I just don't like a lot of types of foods. One reason why I lean towards being a vegetarian is because I actually don't like chewing meat at all. I don't like I don't like steak. I don't like burgers. And my wife, she see me eat them at home, and it's like chew, chew, spit, chew, chew, spit. It's hard for me to swallow any of that.
Ah,
So
okay.
being somewhat of a vegetarian helps out. I do eat fish, and I realized that I really like salmon, and I
That's
started
good.
snacking my diet with things that I really enjoy. Now, I always ate what I enjoyed. Of course, it's just that what I enjoyed wasn't always the best for me personally. Like eating pizza every single day, or me being a vegetarian at one point, but I was really just a pastafarian, as I call it, because lots of pasta.
Or a junk food vegetarian.
Yeah, junk food vegetarian. Like Oreos are vegan, Pop Tarts are vegan,
Listen, okay, pizza is vegetarian. Like,
pizza is
okay.
vegetarian.
I feel you on that. I do feel you on that because sometimes people are like, oh yeah, I'm vegetarian, and they open a bag of chips. It's like, all right, yeah, you're vegetarian, all right, but
Yeah,
then that doesn't mean you're a healthy vegetarian. So that's crazy. So carry on. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. So I started trying to focus a little bit more on the nutrition side of it. Now, for
Mm-hmm.
me, just making sure that nutrition was a properly sourced for me. For me, it was a great adventure because this gave me something to do. This gave me something to look forward to. This gave me some control over my own life. No one else had to be involved in any of this. So for me, when I started being like, okay, I'm out of control, it's so bad to the point that I'll call the pizza place and they'll know that it was me. If I want a day without ordering pizza, they'd call me and ask me if I want to place an order. Like it got that bad. It really got that bad. And the
That's
place
kind of
around the
funny.
corner from us, it was a $7 pizza. And I'm like, oh, how bad could it be? It's $7.
That's crazy.
But it got that bad. So I was like, all right, so I want to end this compulsive eating because the compulsive
Hmm.
eating is what was making me feel guilty. I want to be
Hmm.
able to overcome this. So then I started taking steps, just one at a time. I'm not with the type of person that can make revolutionary changes, drop everything in one shot, and then do all these amazing things that I see other people do, where they're like, it's just one day I stopped eating junk food, I was exercising, and I never looked back. That's not my story.
Okay. I know. I think that's true for many of us, if we're honest. Like that doesn't really happen very often. But
Yeah, I
carry
mean,
on. Sorry. Go ahead.
no, those are the type of stories I'll listen to. I'm like eating with Papa. I was like, wow, you're amazing. You're
Yeah, I
nothing
know.
like me.
High five. Kudos. That's not me.
Exactly. So for me, I actually had to do it one step at a time. So even though I was eating pizza every day, I was like, okay, well, how do I make the next step? I
Hmm.
started meal prepping pizza. And some
Wow.
people say, no, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed that's still unhealthy. I was like, listen, it's a step for me. Do you get this?
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
step for me. For you, I get that it's not going to be that big a deal. But for me, it's a lot better than ordering pizza every single day. At least
Right.
buying it,
Absolutely.
putting it into a little Tupperware, and getting used to
Right.
eating leftovers. Or another step was that we'll make our own junk food at home. So yeah, I
Yes.
get it. Instead of going to TGIF or getting wings, we'll just go to the store and buy wings are probably just unhealthy. But then, that's a step to say that we're going to cook at home. Or even to say that if I'm
Yeah.
going to buy junk food, to take a step and say, I'm not going to be able to call them to come to my house. I got to make it hard for me and take the trip to go there and pick it up. So there's little things like
Right.
that made it so that my habits were able to be a lot more solid and the control that I felt over what I was doing was so much more. And then I
That's
started doing
awesome.
then I started doing other things like trying to find out how I can make this healthier. How I can do just a little bit better every single week. How can I master just one new habit a week and lock that one in so they all stack together? So then I started making, okay, how do I make pizza? Well, fat-free cheese is a thing.
Yeah.
Fat-free cheddar, fat-free mozzarella, that's pizza cheese. And then you have fat-free sauces, that's a thing. And then you have pita bread, which is sometimes fat-free or low fat or some type of flat bread. Like that's a thing. Throw those things together. I was able to make my own pizza from now on that was near fat-free pizza.
Hmm.
So just finding out how to do these things a little bit better. Bought an air fryer. Little tiny changes. So instead of buying deep fried foods, have that. And over a couple of weeks, it's like, okay, so I'm just locking in on my habits. I just want to do these because it's the right thing to do for no other reason. It's not about how it's impacting my body as far as the shape that my body's in. It's not about how it's making me look. It's not about how it gets me on the scale. I'm just doing this because it feels good to finally be in control of my life one more time. It actually made dieting really fun
That's
where
awesome.
I wasn't counting calories at the time because I
Right.
wasn't ready for that yet. That was too much stress for me. I didn't want to jump all into it.
For
That
real.
was just too hard. I just wanted to eat a little bit better. That's it, just
Yeah.
a little bit better. So I
Hmm.
started doing those things. I was now in the habit of eating leftovers because I practiced eating leftovers with meal prepping pizza of all things. I was now in the habit of cooking my own food at home. I was in the habit of eating at home. I was in the habit of picking the foods that I like to eat. I mean, some of these foods, it's kind of crazy. I learned how to make fat-free cheesecake, fat-free high-protein cheesecake, fat-free high-protein sweet potato pie. All these little things that I've kind of learned, and they've really been great for me personally. As
Right.
I got into those habits, it gave me a control of my life. And it was like, man, I wonder what I'm going to do next week. Like, it gave me that sense of purpose.
Right.
Like, I want to do something new next week and see how good this can actually get.
Right. Right. And now look, now you have a whole business out of that, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, for me with this, as I said, I started doing this just to have some type of control of my life. But as I got into it, I had no idea that I was going to get this passionate about it.
Hmm.
Like for my whole adult life, I had one single passion in the past, and that was what I put all my eggs in that basket. That's all I ever focused on. So when that left me, it was like, oh, what do I do now? I
I
started thinking
see.
about what else can I do and what else is going to be fun. I started getting into public speaking a little bit, and it was like, yeah, I mean, I'm good at it. I get great reviews, it pays, but it's not really that much fun. Or other things like graphic design, building websites. Yeah, it's cool I can do it, but I don't really like it that much.
Right,
So I'm
right,
not going to
right.
stick with it. So there were always a lot of things that were circling my mind about what I can do as far as my skill set was concerned, but none of those things I really liked. Now, when I
Mm-hmm.
got back into fitness, I realized, oh snap, I really, really like this. I really enjoy it. It's something that makes me happy and content with my life, and I can really do this. And as I
Okay.
look back over my life, this is something I probably should have done from a long time ago because I started getting in shape when I was like 16 years old. I, I was starting to push-ups, got those little $20 weights from Walmart. This is something I was into for a very long time that I kind of let fall aside. And when I got back into it, I was like, I really like this. And then
Mm-hmm.
other people at the gym were coming up to me like, man, what are you doing? You look so different. Not for me. All I noticed is that my clothes was fitting different, but I didn't really notice that much because I was just in it for the love of it.
Right, right.
There's nothing else to it. So then after people started talking to me about it, I realized like, I could do something with this. I really could. And then people started asking me if I competed. I was like, for real? For
Hmm.
real? Because I always wanted to compete, but for real, y'all really think I could make this happen? It's like, yeah, you're kind of killing it. So then I got into doing competitions as part of my own personal brand with this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just been a great experience overall. I realized that this is something I'm passionate about. It's something I can do pretty much. I don't want to say I could do it in my sleep because you got to wake up and go to the gym, but
Yeah.
so
But
I
we get what
can't
you're
do.
saying.
Yeah, it just was.
It comes easy to you.
Yeah, it's become to the point where it come easy because I found myself having a passion for the
Mm-hmm.
activities of it itself. Like I'm not really passionate about looking great. That's not something that really drives me. But the activities themselves, I really found my joy in that. And I just like the fact that it gives me the sense of control over my life. It gives me a sense of purpose. And it gives me the sense that what I do with what I put out gives me back something. And
That's
that actually
awesome.
keeps me healthy in the mind.
That's awesome. That's no, absolutely, because our minds and our bodies are all connected.
Yeah.
You can't be okay in one area. You can't be not okay in one area and be okay in the other area. So everything's connected. So if your body's feeling good, most likely oftentimes your mind is going to be feeling good, and actually 100% of the time your mind is going to be feeling good. So now, what would you say to that person right now who is struggling with depression, whether it's situational or a chemical imbalance or what have you? And they have like absolutely no desire to do anything. And like you said, you've been there before. You felt like you had no motivation, no nothing, because depression in itself, it's hard to get motivated when you're depressed. So what would you say to that person right now who's sitting down and listening to this interview?
Well, definitely, I'll say find someone to coach you through this all. Find someone to talk to. Find a health professional. That's going to be the very first thing. After that, if they're going to turn to fitness, it can be really good because what that's going to do is that it's going to give you an instant satisfaction of something that you did, whether it's going to be 10 minutes or it's going to be an hour. I'd also say if this is a struggle that you're having, you probably want to stay clear of cardio to get started.
Why is that?
Well, because cardio is long. So you have to be on there for an hour before you start reaping the benefits that I did something. Now with weightlifting, it was a little bit different because I would do a set of 10, put it down, and it's like, okay, I did that. So the satisfaction that you get out of it comes quicker with each and every set that you can build on. So I'll go into a set, it's like, oh wow, I actually accomplished something. I picked something heavy, I put it down. I picked something heavy, I put it down. The satisfaction just comes quicker as a result of it, where you feel like I did something. And you
So
can
now
also
what if the
stop.
Okay. So what if the person just wants to like because like for example, running on a treadmill, if you set like 10 to 20 minutes, that's like short term. In your experience, did that work for you? Like because it's still cardio, but I mean, you're moving, it's a shorter period of time. It's not like in a whole hour, but like, 10, 20 minutes. Like did that work for you?
I'm not a cardio person, so no, I
Okay.
didn't. I didn't start doing cardio until after about 6 or 7 months working out.
Okay. All right. Okay. So then there's that as well. Okay, yeah, no problem. I mean, if then again, so then we can say that what's more important is starting off with shorter
Hmm.
sets or shorter exercise periods. So don't
Yeah,
tell yourself, oh, when I'm going to the gym, I have to spend an hour because that's overwhelming, right?
yeah,
So then it's like 10 minutes, or whether the 10 minutes is lifting and putting down weights, or those 10 minutes are just like walking on the treadmill or just walking outside. But you spend 10 minutes of doing something that's short enough of a time frame where you can actually do something that will move your body, get your blood flow going, and all that jazz. Would you agree?
yeah. Yeah, you have to do it short because you want to make sure that from you want to make sure you get satisfaction as quickly as you possibly can.
Right, right,
And you don't want it to
right.
be too strenuous because that doesn't really feel good. One mistake that I made at one point in the past is that some of the workouts that I was doing was a bit too strenuous for my level, and they're just like, "Oh, just keep it going, just push it, go balls to the wall, no pain, no gain." And I was like, you know what? I really don't want to do this. This isn't that much fun. So you want to make sure that it's at
Right,
a level
right.
where you feel rewarded more than anything else. And some people will see me work out. I'm like, I don't
Absolutely.
even sweat. Like I really don't sweat very much because that's not that much fun to me. I'm in this for the enjoyment of it, the enjoyment factor. It's just surprising that even with all of that, that things happen so well. I dropped 100 pounds in 5 months. It still works.
Absolutely, absolutely. So essentially, so our whole goal in terms of exercising or eating healthy is to start small. Start small. Don't overwhelm yourself. And this goes for anybody too, because even for someone who may have not, who's been out of the game for a long time, just thinking about what you've done in the past. Like for example, if we're at this age, you want to try going back to what you were doing, not you per se, but if someone wants to go back to what they were doing when in their 20s and they were spending hours at the gym. I mean, at this point when you're almost 40, you have a family, you have a job, you can't spend like hours at the gym like you used to. So you're going to have to rethink how you do fitness and fitness period, if that was your thing. You're going to have to rethink how you do eating, because as we know, as in different at different ages, at different stages, your things are going to change, things are going to shift, so you have to adapt to it. Because like when we're 60, we're not going to exercise how we were when we were 30 or 20, you know what I mean? So with every
Maybe.
age, every, I mean, we may, but who knows? But at the same time, some things will need, might have to be adjusted, is what I'm trying to say. So so again, go for what works for you. Like for example, you said that you didn't like the heavy lifting or the cardio at first, you know what I mean? So for someone who's listening, if you're not a cardio person, don't go cardioing, because then you're gonna hate it, right? So if you're into weightlifting, then do that. If you're into dancing, do that. If you're into walking or whatever, do that. Do not try to do something that you hate and try to push through it, because then it's not going to be beneficial.
No, it's gonna tear you down. And as something that
Absolutely.
she said too was some of the lingo that we use. Well, one thing that I had to push out my mind is that I wasn't gonna get back in shape. I don't use that terminology. Try to encourage other people to never use that terminology. And I
Okay,
almost
so
never say never. Don't ever say that you're gonna get back in shape. You can never move backwards. Once you put that in our minds, what ends up happening is that we start thinking about the past as the glory days and the future can be
mm,
nothing but grim. So you will never get back in shape, and you will shortchange yourself by believing that you're going to somehow get back in shape. I'm in the best shape of my life today than I've ever been in my life. I mean, 32-year-old me will destroy 19-year-old me
no, but that's
in
dope though.
everything.
That's really dope. That's really dope. I do like that what you just said. So now what do you encourage your clients to say instead of getting back into
Yeah.
shape? What's the words that you use?
I'm going to do the best that I possibly can today with what I have.
Okay. Okay.
So that
No.
includes if
Yep.
I've got bad knees, I'm going to do the best that I can with the bad knees that I have. If I've
You're
got some
so
like
right. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so if I've got like some stamina issues, I'm gonna do the best that I can with what I have today. But you're looking at where you are today in this
Mm,
moment, doing the best
mhm.
that you can, and then praising yourself for you doing your personal best.
Mhm. Mhm. That's awesome. No, but that's really good, Damien. That's really, really good advice. If anything, that I really like that, because the whole back in shape and doing the best we can, it's awesome. Because like you said, if you have bad knees or if you had an injury, like say a back injury, and you can't do certain things that you used to do, then you kind of like live in that regret, like, oh, I wish, instead of focusing on the now and moving forward with what you have. So that is like awesome, awesome advice. Awesome advice. So, is there anything else that you'd like to share before we wrap this conversation up?
Absolutely. Last thing I want to say is that when it comes to fitness, focus on loving the process more. Make the behavior itself more of the goal than the results.
Mm,
Focus more on the
awesome.
behavior. Reward yourself for the behavior itself. Think about what you're doing and try to move away from just results based with a fat loss or with a weight loss. Try to move away from that to just the behaviors. Fall in love with the behaviors. Don't adopt a diet, adopt a lifestyle instead. Find
Man,
the foods that
that's
you
right.
enjoy so that you can look forward to eating every single day and set those goals, as I keep saying, as behaviors. Set a behavior goal, not a result goal.
That's awesome. That's totally awesome. Thank you so much, honey, for that. Oh, one more thing. Where can we find you? So if anyone wants to follow you and maybe seek you for some advice or what have you, where can they find you on social?
Absolutely. The best place to find me is going to be on Instagram. It's going to be at HD Mirage. So I'm going to find a way to write that out, but it's going to be at HD Mirage. That's going to be on Instagram. You can follow
Okay.
me there. In a couple of weeks, you're going to be able to become a patron. As I said, one thing that I do now is that I'm a competitive bodybuilder, and what I
Hmm.
want to do with that is to be a token or be the standard for what transformation will look like going from a life of being depressed and morbidly obese into being a professional athlete. So that's something that I want to do, and I want my journey to be a part of your story as well. So at HD
That's awesome.
Mirage and follow that along, and then I'm going to be putting a lot of things on habfit.net, which is going to be the website that we're launching in a couple of weeks right now.
Okay, so it's Hab, HAB as in Belinda.
Yeah,
HA.
HAB is
Okay.
in
Okay, so habfit.net, right? And
yeah,
then what was your Instagram hashtag again? I
it's at
mean, Instagram hashtag. Go
at
ahead.
HD Mirage. So that's at HD
D as
MAR
in D as in dog.
D as in Damien.
D. There you go. Sorry. Oh yeah, that's right. That's your name. Sorry, my fault. I
Yeah,
just realized that. Sorry. That's all right. So
yeah, it's my bad.
HD Mirage, and that's where we can find you on Instagram.
Yeah, that's where you can find me on Instagram. Definitely keep up with all the shows. I'm gonna start putting out a lot more content about exercise, building habits, meals that you can do. Hopefully, meals that you can enjoy. Even things like fat-free French toast, if French toast is something that you enjoy for yourself. How to make calorie-free soda by yourself at home, so that you don't have to get the added calories while you're making the transition. So there's gonna
Right.
be a lot of good stuff for you.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Damien, for sharing your story with us. And I really do hope that so at least one person listening will gain some sort of inspiration. And for you listening, listen, depression is, mental illness is definitely. Let me rephrase. Nowadays, with all that's going on, it's easy for us to fall into these depressive thoughts or what have you. And maybe you've been struggling with it for who knows how many years. But like as Damien says, that it's not the end. That there are ways that you can find to get back the control that you feel like you've lost through the years. So whether it's seeking help through therapy or looking towards fitness as a way to gain back control, do it. It is not the end. There is still hope. And I do hope that you are able to get out of your depressive state and move forward with your life, because we all have something to look forward to. We all have something to live for. And we all have a purpose in this life. So thanks again for watching. Share, comment, and tune in for the next one. Bye.